Hi, welcome back to another edition of Max and Nikki 1000th Time Reactions.
On this episode, we're going to be listening to House of the Rising Sun by The Animals.
For our 1000th time.
That's right.
But before we get into it, just want to remind you, as we usually do, that we have another channel called Max and Nikki, on which we perform oldies tunes, jazz standards, and originals in that vein.
And we also got comedy videos as well.
On that channel.
That's right.
Anyway, let's get into it. House of the Rising Sun by The Animals for our 1000th time.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. She
right, House of the Rising
House of
Sun by
Rising
the
Sun
Animals.
by the Animals.
Man, that song is really just kind of, it just keeps building and building, you know?
You know, it's all about the rhythm section in that song. Well,
Sure.
obviously, Eric Burden's,
Eric Burden, by the way, if you don't know, is the
Is it
lead
Eric
singer
Burdon?
of the Animals. It's Burdon, yeah.
is Eric Burdon or Eric Burden?
No, it's Eric Burden.
Yeah, Eric Burden. I don't know why I'm saying Burdon.
Oh, yeah. Maybe cut that out.
Anyway, Eric Burden, though, I mean, he's got those raw vocals that are just
He does,
really-
and you know,
I know people love.
I'll
look,
let you say
and,
it.
and they are a good band, the Rolling Stones, and they get all the credit though for being this raw band that
But-
have a lot of energy and that are very raw. But other bands around the time, I
Like the
feel
Animals
like the Animals
and
or
the
the
Kinks,
Kinks.
I feel like I prefer those bands.
I
you know?
mean-
they're more raw and they're more original, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, this song is a cover.
this is a cover.
But just I mean, I guess Mick Jagger does have an original approach to interpreting.
He's got an original
the
approach,
music.
and a lot of people find he has a certain charisma too.
But I prefer. I just think that
but
Eric
there's-
Burden is a better vocalist.
I think he's
technically
got,
speaking,
he's got this rawness to him, but there's a polish to it as well. Like
Right,
it's rawness, but it seems like he's got more vocal control.
He really
Actually, he's more control.
He can belt it out without just screaming it. He belts it out with control, and for a band that is more of like a raw sort of
rock and band.
the Kinks are really good too. They were very original, actually.
The Kinks also they spanned a lot of different kind of
Underrated band, the
genres
Kinks.
in a
I know
way,
we're not talking about the Kinks right now.
within like subgenres.
But yeah, this song is so cool, especially when the organ first enters. You're like, oh man, this is really
It's
cool.
got this 12/8 feel. The keys are the organ's doing this real cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, again, it's this rhythm section that's really driving this, propelling this forward.
Sure,
moving it
yeah,
forward the whole
and
time.
obviously, yeah, as we said, this is a cover of a famous song. That's it's been it was I don't know how old it is. I think House of the Rising Sun is like an old sort of.
Well, it is a traditional folk song.
Right, it's a traditional folk song.
Let's just, I'm going to take a moment.
Okay.
I just wanted to check a little bit about the history of House of the Rising Sun.
Sure.
The song, I mean, some people date it having resemblance to a song from even the 16th century, actually.
It's a song of uncertain authorship, like many of these traditional folk songs are. A lot of them have blues roots.
This has a blues roots, So, but if that were the case, I wouldn't date it to the 16th century. Then, of course,
exactly.
But
it does obviously the way the Animals
the way
are
they're
playing it has
interpreting
kind of
it.
a more bluesy feel to it,
For
or
sure.
especially the way Eric Burden sings. He's definitely influenced by blues singers.
Again, I mean, look, the Rolling Stones are a great band, and
Well-
they are influenced by the blues, but. I don't know, man. If you're gonna go
I
with a
prefer the
blues-based
Animals.
band,
I prefer the
I gotta
Animals.
prefer the Animals, over them. But hey, that's just my.
But this is coming from two kids who very much love '60s pop more than the blues rock bands. The '60s.
Sure, but that's what I'm just saying. Actually, if you're gonna, I guess maybe.
I mean, I guess it depends.
Obviously, the Rolling Stones are big pop sellers, in the 60s.
I know, but
and
they're-
beyond. Actually,
as Paul McCartney said, the Rolling Stones are sort of a blues cover band, but they're amazing, I mean,
I know he's just kidding. He's just ribbing them.
But,
They're good friends, obviously.
Sure, but in that age-old debate, who wins between the Beatles and the Rolling Stones? I mean, for us, it's the Beatles, but
I think people. I was listening to Mark Maron, and even he was saying, and his taste prefers.
Mark Maron is a stand-up comedian.
stand-up comedian
very
and
famous,
podcaster.
He has a famous podcast.
But he prefers the Rolling Stones. That's more in line with his sensibilities. But he's like, objectively though, just sheer number of hits, he's like, you got to give it up to the Beatles because, I mean, there's no contest there. I mean, even he says that, and he has more of an edge. Like he likes kind of stuff that is a little rough around the edges,
Sure.
like the Rolling Stones, and that's more his preference. But even he he'll give it up, give his hats off to the Beatles.
Of course, this reaction video to the Animals leads to a debate between the Rolling Stones
Sure.
and the Beatles.
Well, it's just that sometimes I feel like at the expense of other bands that had a raw bluesy sound,
People
tend to
go
get,
to
people
go
tend,
to
people
the-
tend
the
go
Rolling
to,
Stones.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones often.
But I argue the
and
Animals-
I just think people don't pay enough attention to like the Animals or the Kinks,
Or the Yardbirds even, but
But with that said, I will say part of the reason is just the output of the Rolling Stones, their
Sure, I know,
longevity.
but
They've been
let's-
around for
let's
the
not
longest.
let's not keep talking about the Rolling Stones.
I know,
because,
I know.
But because the Animals have got a lot. I mean, they've got some great hits like We Gotta Get Out of This Place.
We
and
gotta get out of this place. If
Yeah.
it's the last thing I ever. I mean, we'll probably take a
React to
listen
that
react to
eventually,
I mean, that's a
one's
great song. I
that's
think
a
that's
great
my favorite. That's also another. I believe that's another cover. Am I incorrect about that? I think.
Could be. I mean, obviously, Eric Burdon would eventually join up with War. Eric Burdon and War, and
Sure, but actually, there's also Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. That's also another good one.
of course, that's very. We probably should react to that eventually.
I just wanted to correct myself earlier. I just want to double check on We Gotta Get Out of This Place. It was not a cover, but the Animals had the first hit with it.
But it was written by Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil, who famous songwriters from the Brill Building of the New York City.
But they actually, apparently, they wrote it. It was intended for the Righteous Brothers at first.
The Animals' House on the Rising Sun. It's a great song. It really builds up, and he's got that just almost like a throaty growl to his voice.
He's kind of got that growl.
and I like it. I like it.
I mean,
like
it's
it a lot.
it's not a big growl. It's not like a like a.
like a Louis Armstrong or something.
Well, no, I was thinking about he's in movies and he's in like Down by Law and.
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits,
not
thank
like
you.
a
Thank you.
Tom.
It's not like a
Waits.
Tom Waits type of growl,
Not like a Tom Waits type of growl, but
but it has a slight kind of
let's just say he can belt it out with the best of them.
sure.
That's going to do it for today's reaction with House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. Please hit that subscribe button and ding that post notification bell to find out about more Max and Nikki reaction videos.
Keep tuning in.